podcast, hosted by Jordan, Gabby, and Shayna, three friends who needed a creative outlet, wanted to get together and have a good time, and talk about the thrills, spills, and realness of motherhood.
Welcome to Mama Juice.
Hi. So, our next episode is going to be on a subject that three people in the group can't really give information on, but we're all fascinated about. And we want to hear the stories. It's about dating and being a single mom that's dating. And we were married, and Miss Lisa is on the market. Yeah.
Are there any handsome men?
Any of our million
Any of our followers that are male. I hear you share stories with me.
I do.
I find it very fascinating because when we were all dating, we were in college, and it was
Right.
like a different,
Different
or
world.
high school, college, and then it was different realm.
We didn't even have online dating at that time, really. I feel like.
Maybe if you did, it would be on the computer.
Oh,
it
yeah.
would have been
Not like an app.
It would have
Yeah.
been
Yeah.
like Match or something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And that
we
was
weren't
more
that
like
much.
not as popular. I feel like.
No, it
Yes.
was a stigma.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Elliot was on eHarmony.
I met my
eHarmony.
ex-husband on eHarmony.
Yeah.
So eHarmony does work. I
Yeah.
got married off of it.
Yes.
But yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well,
Plenty
he
of
said that
fish,
there was
I
a
know
lot
plenty
of
of people
people
that-
they were ready to get married,
Yeah, that's
no
what it
matter
is.
who
This is the more serious
was
one.
there.
Yeah, I don't.
with
Yeah.
it.
When did
I mean,
Tinder come along? What
So
year was
what?
that?
I think that may have been the first app, honestly.
Mm.
So my relationship with apps has been only post-divorce, because prior to being married was 2012 and there were no apps. So I think eHarmony was on an app, but I used it on my computer because
Yeah.
that's all I knew. So I got divorced in 2020, and which is really weird.
And
2020. No, we got separated in 19. I mean, we should have separated earlier, honestly, but yeah, and that was the whole world of apps, and I was
Yeah.
like, I don't really know how to navigate. I knew how to navigate online dating, because believe it or not, I was one of those people who did it in 2003. I mean, I did Match in 2003. And I met boyfriends that way, and it was
Yeah.
great. It was fun. I was like, this is cool. This is like an untapped resource that
Yes.
nobody knows
I
about.
can get
and,
all
like,
the people I don't want out.
right, and I was,
Yes.
it's like shopping. I'm
Yes.
like, this
Yeah.
is so cool. And there were
Online shopping. Add to cart.
Yeah.
there
Yeah.
were quality guys on there. It was great. I
Save
was
for
like,
later.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. I mean, I met most people in person, but I did meet a couple people
Yeah.
online, and I was like, this is really cool. And like, I knew that it was like a thing that people like would make fun of you if you did it, but I didn't care, because
Yeah.
I don't care what people think. So I was like, cool.
You were how do you
I was a trailblazer of online dating. If only you could see me now. But yeah, so after my divorce, I immediately downloaded, not immediately, because after my divorce, I started seeing somebody that Mark. I started seeing him. He went to the gym, but we did connect on an app. So I guess Hinge and Bumble were my two. They're still my two. I don't like Tinder. I think Tinder.
Well, yeah, that's
Is that
trash,
more
right?
like
It's a
Hook
hookup
up,
app, yeah. But like even in there's something that feels inauthentic about Tinder. I can't explain it, but
Yeah.
the quality of conversation isn't good.
Yeah.
I would say the number one dating app right now is Hinge, in my opinion, only because men and women can approach each other, whereas Bumble, only the women can approach the men, and I don't necessarily like that. I think it's supposed to be like a safety feature for women.
So it's not annoying, all these weird men.
But in
Right.
like a public setting, that probably wouldn't have been the way, right?
Right.
Like a lot
Right.
of times somebody else would
And
come and
the
see
type
you.
of man I
Yeah.
like is somebody who's approaching a woman.
Yeah,
I like a
yeah.
pursuer. I don't want to be pursuing. So,
Yeah.
and Match was that way. Match would be like girls and boys, men and women would approach each other.
Yeah.
So Hinge has been more it's not a swiping app either. I don't know.
Uh-huh.
There's something about swiping that just feels so automatic and so
Yeah.
mean.
Yeah, it's
Not
so
like just
strange.
not like I'm
the
telling
hot or
you,
not.
it just doesn't.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
it just
Yeah.
makes me feel like I'm. But I do it with
Shopping.
Hinge. But at least with Hinge, I like scroll down and I look at each person. Like I see their like stats, age, children, no children, job. Usually I care if they drink or don't drink. Sometimes when they say they're sober, I'm just like, I don't think we're gonna get along,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
even if you aren't like a big drinker, like I like to drink and I don't want to like be tempted
judged
to-
about
or
it,
be
yeah.
judged about it,
Yeah.
right?
It's a totally different lifestyle.
Right.
Yeah.
Their religion, like things like that. So
Yeah.
and then I'll see like if they answer their prompts. Like to me, like I love personality. Obviously, like I have a criteria for what someone looks like, but like I really do value like a very like outgoing,
Yeah,
like
someone fun.
social, fun person, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I joined a bunch of dating apps, and it's been June of 2019 I separated. So we're at 6 years almost that I've been on these apps and doing this. And in that time, I've only had like 3 solid relationships, I would say.
Is there any
No,
catfishes?
2. Oh, lots, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, that happens
Is
all the time.
common?
So the catfish situation is interesting with the way it's happened with me. The 2 people who catfish me legitimately use somebody else's pictures.
Right.
Right.
Just
Not
from Google?
just like people will say like, no, like somebody like took over someone's Instagram and I found him and I told the guy
Oh, good.
who it was
Yeah.
because I'm a sleuth and I can figure out what pictures are using.
Good.
Yeah, and he like talked to me for like 10 days
Oh
and
my
did this. It
gosh.
was crazy.
That's so creepy.
And like keeps it all like online, right?
I
Like,
mean,
'cause
yeah,
obviously,
we
like,
did. We
what
talked on
would
the
happen?
phone, and so I thought that was his voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was on a trip out to California with like one of my clients actually, and her husband was the one who kind of brought it to my attention. He's like,
Oh.
Lisa, nothing. He looked at his profile. He's like, it doesn't say anything about his job or his college. He's like,
Yeah.
you need to check this guy out. So what I did, because things were starting to get fishy, is I looked at all his pictures, and in one of his pictures was a CrossFit picture, and it said CrossFit whatever. And I looked that up, and I went to their Instagram, and I found the guy who was tagged, and I messaged him, and I was like, holy shit, this is not him. Yeah, and I messaged the guy who it was, and I showed him all the screenshots of the guy.
Can you imagine? What if someone like was using you?
People have used me. I have.
Are you
3 people-
serious?
It's happened 3 times. I've had 3 fake
What?
Instagrams be used of me.
And how'd you find out?
Because people saw them.
And they're like, is
Yeah, they're like,
Wow.
they're like, my name
So
is Lisa.
scary.
I work in fitness, and my daughter's name is
What?
Bree. Yeah, swear to God, I have screenshots of it. It's
That's
crazy.
wild.
so you're really
That is
having a whole
wild.
relationship with someone else you just don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're just having a
You
great
might
time.
be married.
Yeah, you might be married.
Possibly.
Online.
Yes.
Online
Never
married.
met.
But I mean, you start to catch that stuff. Like there's a thing. In my sister is now in the dating world. She's dating somebody now. But when she first joined him, she's like, "What's with these guys who are like really gorgeous and they're from other countries and it says that they're really liberal and they just want to like have someone to like love?" And I'm like, they're fake. It's AI. Like it's not
Yeah.
real. It's a bot. So I
Oh,
mean, you
that's so
start
It's
to
scary.
catch
so
it.
scary nowadays, right? Because AI is like.
And
I'd
most,
be like, FaceTime me right now.
yes,
Yeah.
most people will
Immediately.
say.
real.
I feel like there's probably FaceTime.
And
videos,
not
yeah.
of your
Ugh.
penis.
Yeah.
No,
Yes.
not one a dick pic.
Not a
No,
dick pic.
So I will say, this is sad, but I would say 80% of the messages that I get, even if I engage with them at the beginning, turn sexual
Yeah.
immediately.
Yeah.
And that's like what most men are looking for right now.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it sucks. Like,
Even if you say I don't, like that's what I want.
I mean, I
looking
don't put it on I don't put it on the
Yeah.
app because I don't want to come off as like a prude.
Prude,
I'm not
yeah.
a prude, but like. No, like as soon as
That's
you start
not the
talking about
goal.
sex,
Talk to me.
I
Yeah.
like
Like,
I like pull
conversation.
it back. Like
Yeah.
I'm just like I'm not interested in that.
Yeah.
And you can tell really quickly if they're going to do that. But then, yeah, the FaceTime thing is important. I think FaceTiming someone, or at least having their last name and being able to verify who they
Yeah.
are. And that's what I've been doing more recently is like, let me see your LinkedIn. Let me make sure you are who
Yeah.
you are. Like, that is huge for
Which
me.
is so
So,
annoying.
Yeah.
You should be able to trust. Like, I just want to talk to this person.
yeah,
And
it does make you, like, feel very jaded,
Yeah.
unfortunately. But
And
I'm
you
still
just-
positive. I would say
Yeah.
I'm one of the most positive people who's still on a dating app because it's just like, it only takes one person, so you don't
Yeah.
know. Some people are genuine. I'm on the dating apps and I'm normal, so
Right.
like, there's
Yeah.
got to be someone
Yeah.
Oh,
who's
yeah,
like
sure.
me,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. They're like the
There's-
same
you
thing.
just gotta
Like, I'm
fish
for
through
real.
them.
Right.
Yeah.
There's like
Are you
6
real? Can we
Yeah.
FaceTime? Yes.
6 billion people in the world. There's
Yeah.
got to be another one. And
Yeah.
I would love to meet somebody in real life. I would love to. And I did. I met one person that
Yeah.
I dated last year, Doug. I met him in real life, and that did make me feel like our connection was closer because we met in real
Mhm.
life. You know,
Yeah.
he wasn't ready because his ex cheated on him for 8 years, but whatever. There's a lot of reasons why it didn't
Yes.
work out. But
Yeah.
like, that to me is like the way I like to, but it's just not like feasible.
What do you feel like is the most genuine place you can meet someone?
I mean, I don't get why people just don't talk to you in social settings, like, or non-social
I feel like
settings.
they're scared. They're like, I don't want you.
I mean, I
don't
go
want
to
to
the
be
gym.
Everybody's in their own little bubbles.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
guess. I mean, I think we have lost the ability to be social in public
Yeah.
because I'm put myself in positions. I teach 4 yoga classes a week where I'm at a gym with lots of
Yeah.
good looking men around me,
Mhm,
and like
mhm.
it would be very easy to come to my class and to talk to me, and
Yeah.
they don't. So it's
Yeah.
like I just don't
And
know.
you don't have that like standoff.
I
you
can
know.
have a resting bitch
Yeah.
face a little bit when I'm working out, a little bit, but like. I mean, the grocery store, I don't know. I mean, I saw
Yeah.
a viral video of a girl who was like, I went to Home Depot and looked dumb, and now she's dating the guy. And
Yeah.
it's like, okay, well,
Okay,
maybe
it's a good
What
sign.
is
I mean, I
this?
kind of
Yeah.
see that. Yes, exactly. And it's like, that's cute, but like, I don't have not that I don't have the confidence, but I'm not gonna go do that.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
that sounds weird. So I don't know.
Yeah.
So I did recently think about like, should I make like a business card that's just like, I think you're cute.
Yeah.
This is my name.
Yeah.
Like I'm just gonna hand it to them and like
Yeah.
walk away because I'm like, we gotta like go outside the box. I
I
don't
think they're
dating apps are.
nervous. They're nervous
I
to
think so
get
too.
like they have the bad rap. The guys have the bad rap of being creeps, and
Yeah.
they're just like, I can't. I'm scared. Like,
Yeah.
and then, I mean, would you go up to a guy and be like, I'm interested?
See, I don't know. I
Yeah.
mean, I have a couple of gym crushes right
Yeah,
now. I had a gym crush, and I didn't think he would ever look at me ever. That was the wrestling guy.
Oh yeah.
And then I found he followed me on Instagram after like 6 weeks, and I was like,
Uh-oh.
what the fuck is this guy?
This
This is so amazing. Like, what is
Yeah.
happening? I had just started dating Jeffrey, so I was kind of like a little confused, but I was like, you know what? I'll friend him. We did end up going out, and he was like, oh my gosh, I was staring at you for like 8 weeks. I had no, because we would never
Yeah.
catch eyes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you just don't know.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But it's very sad when you're like, happened with the guy Mark that I dated too. Like, we saw each other in person, but nobody said hello to each other in person, and we had to like connect with each other on a social media or an app situation. And that to me is like, there's a disconnect there.
Yeah.
But
Obviously,
it's
I'm
like
not dating
you feel
either
more
one of them,
confident.
so.
You feel like you can see
Behind
the
it.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Behind a keyboard, yeah.
But I mean, back in the day, I think that a lot of people would meet through friends.
Mhm.
They
Yeah.
would meet through work. They would
Definitely.
meet like through a connected
I think
network,
you really get
right?
along with this
Where-
person.
yeah.
and
So
you
I
get
mean,
along. So there's
it's
all,
like,
no.
you know, just meeting in random in public. I don't think.
It's hard.
I don't know if that's ever been like a big
Maybe not.
the
Yeah.
pool, right?
Yeah.
Because it'd
Right.
be like
Those
somehow
are
you have
rom-coms, but not
so,
like
yes,
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
lock
Baby,
eyes.
you
We
know?
both dropped
Yeah.
the book,
Right,
right?
yeah.
But
Yeah.
I feel like in real life.
Well, yeah,
I
every
don't know if
boyfriend I've
that's-
ever had probably prior to my 20s was I worked with them, I met
Yeah.
them
Right.
through a friend,
You have
or
some
just through
connection
college
somehow.
or something,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
But your connection would still be college.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they say, I mean, I listened to a couple of dating podcasts, but they're like, that's the ant theory. So, like, if you're introduced to somebody by, like, a friend of yours or through, like, a work situation, then you are less likely to fuck it up because
You're in the
you
hive.
would have to tell your aunt. Like,
Yeah.
no, like, your, like,
Oh,
your,
an aunt like
an
that.
aunt,
Oh,
like,
okay.
Yeah, like your mother's sister. They
Yeah.
would be like, why didn't you,
Yeah.
what happened?
Yeah.
Just tell me what happened. And then
So
you're
you
like,
want it to
oh,
work.
man, like, I messed this up. Or if,
Yeah.
like, you weren't interested, you wouldn't even go for it. Whereas on an app, nobody knows
Yeah.
anybody.
Yeah.
I can screw you over because it doesn't matter.
I'll never see
Yeah.
them.
You're not
Right.
in the circle.
Yeah.
Well,
Right,
also, I think it's like if you had some connection, somehow you have some facet of your lives that are going to overlay.
Mhm.
Whereas, like, if you're on the apps, you
There's
guys have
very little.
totally different lives, and you
Spheres.
somehow have to, like,
Connect
make
them.
them mesh,
Yeah.
right? And you have to, like, you don't go to the same gym, you don't have, your kids don't hang out with the same
Yeah.
people, you don't
Mhm.
go to the same school, you don't live in the
Stressful.
same neighborhood.
Right.
Yeah, it's like somehow all of these things have to, like,
Align.
mesh.
Mhm.
And then it's like both people would almost have to be in a situation where things were like in a upheaval, right? And then things could like settle back down
Well,
again instead
it's
of like
like-
somebody being in a groove and then
I mean,
you know.
so like The Bachelor is a very popular show, right? So like they
Yeah.
do like trauma bonding on The Bachelor. They'll like jump off a building together, and all of a sudden
Yeah.
they're like
Yeah.
adhesed to each other, right?
Yeah.
Like that is not existing anymore when it comes to like online dating because there's nothing that you and I have. We have no ties to each other. There's
Yeah.
no reason for us to continue to talk to each other. If you tell me you don't like that my car is not clean enough,
Mhm.
bye boy.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's like I'm gonna say
Yeah.
goodbye. And that's not the way relationships are generally supposed to work. Like
Yeah.
you're not supposed to have so many options that you could say goodbye at like because the wind blew that way that
Yeah.
day.
Because if I
Yeah.
introduce you to him, and then you're like, well, and now I feel bad because I was short of his friend. And
Right,
you're
right,
like,
right. And I probably would
Yeah.
give him more of a chance.
Right.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
just talk to him. And before
Right.
you're like, I'm never seeing him again. Bye bye.
And like
Yeah.
the idea of like if we're doing an app dating situation, the idea of a woman and a man both being in the exact same place at the exact same time is very minimal. Like that is just
Yeah.
not. I have met men. I met one a few weekends ago who was like, I want a girlfriend no matter what, and I could tell that. I could feel it. I could feel that it didn't matter that I was me. It mattered that he wanted a girlfriend.
Yeah.
And it's
Whoever it
like,
was.
the cat
while
light.
while I feel like I want a boyfriend, I'm not like you gotta fit me too,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So we were in different places in time,
Yeah.
right? And then there's guys who are like, yeah, I think I want a relationship, and then they're like, I'm gonna go screw somebody else,
Yeah,
right? Like so
yeah.
then they're like, well, we're not in the same place either. So it's
Yeah.
very like it is a puzzle.
It's a puzzle.
I mean,
Yeah.
I keep saying it only takes one, and that's true, but I don't. I mean,
He's got to fit all four corners.
6 years is
Yeah.
a long time,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So.
And I feel like for men, it's so much easier. They're just like,
Oh,
yeah,
well,
she's-
that's been my most recent discovery is that there are so many more quality women in the world than there are quality men, especially 40 to 49. And I'm 42, so like I don't date 40 to 49 because they just don't exist. And if they do, they're not attractive, or they're cheating on their wives, or they're still hung up on their ex, or they just got divorced, or they're pathological liars. Like there's very few 40 to 49 that I would ever go out with. But then you go 30 to 39, you got more, like as long as they're emotionally mature, they're kind of like ready for that.
Yeah.
50 to 55, which I've gone to, I was telling you the other day, I was like, I feel like they are capable, but they're also like fuddy-duddy. Like they're kind of like old men. Like they just feel, they're not that much older than me, and I could go out with somebody within 10 years of me, but I'm just like, you just are talking to me like you're my friend's dad, and I just don't like that feeling.
Well, I was telling her I think that it's because they were in a relationship for a while, and they are in relationship mode, and like maybe their ex-wives are the ones that like put together the social things, or like they went out because their wives had friends, and you know now they're like, I don't even
They don't know how to do it.
Right. I don't know what to do. I don't have hobbies. I don't have these things, and it's like,
my sweet number of age is 37, 38. Those are the people that I have met most recently in the past 3 or 4 years that I've dated longer than 2 months. I don't know why that is the age. I mean, I was 40 when I met my first 37-year-old. I was 41 when I met my second 37-year-old, and now I'm talking to someone who's 35. So it's like there's like it's the late 30s that I think those guys are like, I think like, oh shit, I missed the boat. Like I should have gotten married.
It's time to settle down.
Now I have to.
Yeah.
And I think I'm ready, but like I still want to have fun. So that's my age range. So.
What is your worst date that you've ever had?
Well, prior to being married, I had a really terrible date with a guy that had really bad social anxiety and wanted me to come to his house before we went out. And I was like, okay. So I did. And then he was like, do you want a drink? And I thought he was going to make me a drink. And I was like, yeah. And he's like, let's go to the liquor store. Okay.
I don't have the supplies.
So we went to the liquor store.
Do you want a drink?
And he walked very fast in front of me. We actually met in person in a bar downtown Orlando, like 2 nights prior. And then he like walked really fast in front of me in the liquor store, like he didn't want to be seen with me. It was really uncomfortable. Wow. And then we get in the car and we're driving past the restaurant. He's like, that's the restaurant I want to take you to. And I was like, do you want to just go?
Yeah.
And he's like, the parking lot's really full. And I was like, okay. And then he goes, you know, there's a reason why people are single after 21. And we were like 23. And I was like, okay.
I don't know that.
I don't. So we get to his house. He's like, I'll make you a drink. And I was like, I'm like, get ready to leave. I'm like, okay. So, and this is before, like, it wasn't scary to go to someone's house. This was like 2006-ish. Yeah, I felt safe. And he's like, I was making a drink, and then he's like, I'm gonna order pizza. I was like, okay. So he orders pizza.
We're not going anywhere.
And then the pizza gets there, and I'm like texting my friends. They're like, we're at a party, just leave. I'm like, okay, just whatever. Like, not texting. I must have been calling because it was early. It was 2003. So, I forget how that happened, but I was like, well, do you want a piece of pizza? He's like, I can't have pizza because it's bad for my abs. I was like, okay, we gotta go. We're not doing this anymore. So that was the worst prior. That was like not an app.
How did you get out of it?
I just left.
Oh yeah, you just
I was
bye.
like, listen, I gotta go. Like,
Yeah, I feel like at that point you're just like, okay, bye.
and I did. The weird thing is, we became like social media friends, and he ended up getting married, but then his wife went like missing. I don't know. It was like a whole
Psycho! That's psycho vibes.
And then like he like
Psycho
showed up
vibes.
on an app, and I was like, oh my god, this is the pizza guy, antisocial abs. We all called him antisocial abs because he was like so fucking weird.
Antisocial abs.
Yeah.
He sounds like a psycho.
Yeah, I don't know what he's doing now. He was a PE teacher. I hope he's not
God,
with
he's
children.
with children.
Save the children!
But no, more recently I've had, I'm an easy person to go on a date with because I'm fun. Like, I will admit
There's no
that
whole
I don't think there's any
conversation.
reason why nobody would have a good time on a first date with me because I keep the conversation going. I'm like, let's order a drink. Let's have, like, I don't, but like, I went on a date on Monday. He was very handsome. He looks like Paul Rudd, but young. And he had like a beard. So he was like a Paul Rudd with a beard, but 31. He's 31, and he's a pharmacist from Ukraine. So he had a little accent. But he, conversation was good, but he was like just boring. Like that's the thing that's just not working for me. Like I like a lot of personality.
There's no boring Paul Rudd. He's not Paul Rudd.
Yeah, exactly. He looks like him, but I mean,
Personality.
that's the thing. Like, I don't care how attractive you are.
Yeah.
If your personality sucks, like, I
Well,
just.
Yeah,
Yeah.
personality goes a long way.
And
you
I don't
can
need
tell
to be, I don't want to
immediately.
carry
Yeah.
the conversation the
Yeah.
entire
Yeah.
time. I don't want you to be like.
Were you laughing? Is there any laughter?
There was no laughter.
No.
No.
Oh, you gotta be funny.
And you know that's really
yes.
important to
Oh
me.
my gosh, that would be that's the number one. Like friends
Yeah.
Me too.
and
Yeah.
anybody. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
you gotta be funny
Yeah.
because I have to laugh and I have to like crack a joke and I have to know that you get the joke.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like if you don't get
Well,
the
at
joke,
first
I'd be
I was
like,
wondering if it was like
yeah.
a language barrier, but he was getting jokes. Like he was getting it, but he wasn't funny. So I was like, okay.
Just too
I
uptight.
don't know.
I think
I don't
Eastern
even know what
European
that-
is.
Yeah, I
no,
mean,
it's
he's
Well,
like,
what we learned from our friend Gabby, she's like, America is just so much more goofy and
Oh,
just
yeah.
fun.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And like Europe is just like too serious.
I don't like
Yeah,
that.
definitely
yeah,
more serious.
She's like, she wore a pineapple suit, and everyone's like, "What do you do?" And
Yeah.
we're like, "Oh yeah, we would totally do that."
Yeah, we would definitely wear
It's
pineapple.
like a
Sometimes.
festival, like
And then
everyone
she
is
was the
sexy.
funny, like
Yeah.
American girl.
Yeah.
They'd be like, "Oh, look at her,
Look
she's
at that
so funny.
crazy
Oh, she's so
American."
silly." Yeah,
She's
Yeah.
just like a normal.
Yeah, we're like,
yeah. If she was here,
I
she
have
would
the
show up and
same
I have a
pineapple,
pineapple
yeah.
suit.
Yes.
I mean, and I will go out with someone from another country, but I do like the idea of like understanding my American jokes, understanding like where I come from, talking a little, not like where I come from, like, oh my gosh, I'm so American, but like, I used to watch Saved by the Bell in the 90s. Did you?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like that is a thing where age becomes an issue a little
Yeah.
bit.
Yes.
Where I'm like, so how old were
Yeah.
you in 2002? Because I was 20. And they're like, oh, I was 4.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, no.
That's going to be tough for me then. We're going to have a hard time.
37, 38 is good because
Yeah.
they can sort of
Yeah, they can still
Yeah.
like understand my music references
Yes.
and things like that.
Yeah, because every time, because we're 5 years apart, but like, I feel like we listen to the same music. But
Yeah.
you were like, oh, I was this age. I'm like, oh, I was in middle school.
Mhm.
But I
Yeah.
don't know, somehow
You
we
still
listen to
can't-
the
yeah,
same
it's the
things.
same.
Yeah.
Yeah, same kind
Yeah.
of stuff. Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, I mean, Ellie and I are 14 years apart,
Yeah.
and like,
But you
But-
but you're a smart your age.
Yeah.
You're a smart 34.
I'm smart.
So smart.
No, but you're a more
Well, but-
evolved 34.
Yeah.
He
You know
will
what I mean?
say his like references of things in the 80s and stuff, and it's like I don't know, but it's like I
You can
mean,
figure it out.
in culture stuff, yeah, I'm like I know about it, but I didn't experience it.
Right, yeah.
But I mean, yeah, it's like, but we still are like we're both really funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I think that
Yeah.
literally like the funny and
Honestly,
the fun
so
is
my
literally
ex-husband
the
and I,
glue of the
We get
stuff.
along now as co-parents. We did not like each other during our divorce, as you wouldn't. But like,
Yeah.
I laughed so hard on my first date. That man can still make me laugh. I mean, I texted him right before we even started,
Yes.
and I was like, "What's that thing you said about recycling?" And he texted me, and it made me laugh. You
Yeah.
know, like
Recycling's hilarious.
like, well,
No, he made like a comment about
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
a scam because I was
Right.
telling her.
But I'm
I
just
feel
saying,
like it's a scam.
even though he's not my person, he made me laugh from day one,
Yeah.
and that to me
Yeah.
is very, very important. So like, if
Yeah.
I need to find somebody who at least
Oh
can
yeah,
do that,
definitely.
and
Yeah.
intelligence. I'm sorry, I have to be able to talk to you about stuff that like
Mhm.
if you. I mean, if you don't know what words mean, I don't know. We gotta talk.
If you
about
don't know what words
Yeah.
are
I mean, it's gonna
Yes.
be tough for me.
Well,
Basic
the
words.
Tina Fey quote is like, it's like, I can tell how intelligent you are by what you laugh at. I
Mhm.
think,
Mhm.
the thing, right?
Yeah.
So it's like slap, happy comedy, like
Oh,
is
physical
like
comedy.
you're less intelligent,
Yeah.
but then witty and like even dark humor
Yeah.
is like you can
Mhm.
see that they're intelligent because you had to like think of all these
Mhm.
layers to like get the joke,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and it didn't take you 2 minutes
Well,
to like
and like
process
you and
it.
I
of,
have
like-
ADHD, right? So like.
So do we.
Oh, you guys do? Oh, great, perfect.
ADHDers.
So here we
Yeah.
are. So I don't know if this happens to you guys, but when I'm in the movies or at the like watching something, I laugh
Yeah.
way before everybody else because I already know what's happening. Like
Yeah.
I don't know if that's an ADHD thing, but I think it is. Like my brain's working faster than
Yeah.
Like
normal.
before it.
I would
Yeah.
never say that I laugh, but I always know what's about to happen.
mean,
and
I
I
legit-
ruin
Yeah.
stuff all the time. Even with Elliot, I know he has ADD, but
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, well, that's so and so's mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he's like, what? And I'm like,
same thing with
oh,
Brian. You know how many
yes.
times I'm like, and he's like, well, what are you talking about? I was like, but did you not just watch this whole thing? Did you
Yeah,
watch
I'm like, there's
Like,
all these drops
We're on
and
our phone
hits.
the whole
Yes.
time.
I
You
know.
know about it.
I'm like,
We're
I'm showing my
shadowing.
phone, and he's
Yeah.
like, well, you're not even watching. I'm like, yes.
But I
Because
do
it was
this.
like in episode 1, they made this like
Yeah.
reference.
Yes.
Why would you
Yeah.
reference
that?
You
Yeah.
didn't
Yeah.
see
And
that?
then I had to like sit there and explain.
No, it's because Elliot's ADD is he's looking up like the actors' names and where they went
Well,
to
I do
college.
that too. I definitely
I
do
do
that
Oh,
too.
too.
I do not do
Where was
that
this
at
person
all.
from?
I
I
literally.
know.
And then I'm like, are they married? Let me go to their Instagram.
Yeah.
How many kids
How
do they
old are
have?
they?
Oh,
What
Elliot
is
will
their
be,
wedding
oh
dress?
yeah,
What
they
was
were
she
in
wearing?
this movie and this, and I'm like,
Oh,
I
that's
don't,
my
I
thing.
literally don't care at all. I'm
I
just like,
love
I'm
it.
in it, and I like am wanting to like figure out the things
The
that I
plot
love.
of the movie?
Yeah, and also, a lot of times it'll be like in the the theme, or not the theme, but like the entrance
Yes.
intro
Oh,
video,
yeah.
they'll have little
Little
things in
Easter
there.
eggs.
Yes, I
Well,
remember
and
telling
whenever
Elliot
the
this. He
intros-
was like,
they'll be like, "This is what happened last episode. You know that's what's they're focusing on for this episode."
exactly,
Like, it's very
exactly,
obvious.
yes, yeah.
Well, so if
Like, why
I'm
would they
watching a
hide that?
movie or a television show with a man and they're able to laugh at the same time I'm laughing, I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my god, we're on the
This
same
is
brain
cute.
Yeah.
wavelength. Like,
Yes.
I want that. I want somebody else.
I do
And
hate
maybe
when
they
I
don't
laugh
exist.
and the other person doesn't laugh. If you didn't get it, you're dumb.
Yeah.
Just
Right.
always like a cackle out.
Dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah. I laughed in our
Embarrassing.
meeting about something, and I'm like, no, I'm not. I think I laughed at Walter or something.
I know exactly why you laughed.
And you were suppressing the laugh, so there you go.
Yeah.
She's just smarter than me.
It's a professional setting.
Yeah.
I know. Having the buddy that you can laugh with is like, you also have a really good group of friends, and so I feel like probably it's like you're comparing your
important.
friends
I am.
to like
Absolutely.
the person,
Yeah.
because you're like, this person
Well,
gets
you're like,
it.
why
You don't
am I
get
on
it.
this
Or
date
I
with
could
this
have more
boring man
fun
when I could be
Yeah.
hanging
Yeah.
out with my friends right
Yeah.
now? Like,
Yeah.
And well, in the history you have, like everyone I know gets it, and like this person you have to like, and maybe they're holding it back because like maybe she doesn't get it.
well, I
These-
mean,
I don't
and
know,
I
people
want to
put this
say,
front up.
I feel like that is why, I read this recently, but like women who are intelligent are probably more happy single than they are being in a relationship,
Yeah.
only because why would I give up my free time like right now to
wait,
go on
yeah.
a date with someone who's dumb or who's just boring
Wasting
or
your
who's just
time.
not? And it, I mean, I look at it positively, like it's a numbers game, so I go after
Yeah.
it, and I'm very optimistic, and I hope that it works out. But like, I'm kind of wondering, is there going to be a time when I'm going to be one of those people? Because I hear about these people. They're like, oh, my friend, yeah, she's like, she just stopped dating, and she's just single, and she's really happy. And I'm like, is that going to be me? Like, am I going to be
Yeah.
that person? Because I am happy on my own.
Yeah.
I would love to have a companion, but I'm not enough to like give my
To
time to
settle.
someone.
Yeah.
Never settling.
Yeah.
Never gonna settle. Mm-mm. No way.
Well, also I feel like that's when you find someone, is when you're not
I
looking.
know, that's what they all say.
That's when you hope.
Yeah, that's what they
That's
all
when the
say.
grocery store happens.
Yeah.
My therapist was like, you need to take a break. That was in March of last year. And I was like, you think I need to take a break? And he's like, yeah. And I was
But
like,
you're a worker,
I
right?
know.
You
It's
like
just
to
I like
do
goals.
stuff.
And
Yeah.
It's really difficult.
It would be hard.
My
yeah.
best friend Mallory is, I've known her since we were 20. And 2020, Mark had just broken up with me. Mark is somebody that I dated on and off for 3 years. So he was probably my most significant relationship.
He was
since
in
my
Big
divorce.
Brother. No, not Big
No.
Brother. Which one?
He,
Some other-
is anybody ever going to watch this?
No, I don't.
Okay,
Okay, he was in Big Brother. That's what we're gonna go with.
He's a
okay.
reality star.
Yeah.
But star, whatever. He thinks he's a reality star, but he's a great guy. I'm not. I don't.
Yeah.
We are friends-ish, but he wants to go out again, and I'm like, we've run its course. Like we don't need
Yeah.
to keep going on. But no, I remember right after he broke up with me the first time. My friend Mallory and I made a list, and it was called Lisa Needs to Be Single. And it was basically from my first date in my high school until that moment. And there was like, so my first date in high school would have been 14, and I was 37. There was only like a total 2.5 months where I was single. Of that
Oh, okay.
entire, what is that?
Wow.
3 years. So it's like, wow, you really, and my therapist was like, yeah, I think you need to be single. And so I'm like, I
And you-
keep
and you
saying I
enjoy
want
yourself.
to, but then I'm like, but the apps are so addicting,
Yeah.
and it's like validation. You know, somebody swipes on you and
Yeah.
tells you you're beautiful. You're like, oh, I like how that feels.
But
Or
do you like going actually on the dates?
I
or is it
don't.
just the app?
No, I like the dates sometimes. I think it's fun to have somebody
Is it
like.
terrifying? Or, I feel like you.
I get a little nervous right before, even still, I still get a little nervous right
I would
before.
be
honestly.
terrified.
I usually take a couple drinks, and I usually
Yeah, I
like,
would feel like I would definitely. need to-
especially like
to do
the
that.
first 15 minutes before we walk in on the date. Yeah, I'm a little nervous.
Yeah.
It's like a job
I'm-
interview.
It is like a job interview.
You weren't done.
And then there's like exes who come back. Like, you know, that happens a lot. Exes come back a lot. And that's hard to say no to too, because when an ex comes back, you're like validation. You're like, yeah, it was so awesome that you couldn't resist me.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I know that's not the truth, but that's how it feels,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So it's hard to like say fully single.
Well, I remember Elliot talking about he went through that period of like he called it recycling. Like he would
I
like
love
go
that.
back through like people he had dated, and he would be like, maybe it was just a wrong time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
men do that a
Wrong-
lot.
Yeah, and like let's give it another shot. And then obviously there was a lot of them. And he
The
was
reasons
like,
why you
yeah.
This is
Yeah.
why it didn't work.
That
Yeah.
chick's nuts. Yeah, but
Because it's scary. The unknown is scary. Of like, you kind of want to just go back to the way you know.
Yeah, the more recently, I used to pride myself on not being somebody who went back to people, but I have this. I would say the last 2 years has been mostly going back to people that I've known. Yeah.
So what is the worst? Like, what is the worst in people that you've seen? What's
So
being stupid and not funny?
that's pretty bad.
Yeah.
That's like the norm of people, though. I
Yeah.
hate to say that, but the norm.
Do they
of
put
people-
on this front? Because first date they want to show themselves. Are they like?
So I go out with very good-looking men,
yeah.
and that's probably my problem. So that's what I'm attracted to.
Yeah.
And like, if
Yeah.
I met somebody in person, I probably wouldn't care what they looked like on an
Right.
app, right? So the people I've met in person, I bet on an app are terrible looking, and I probably wouldn't go out with them. But the
Yeah.
people on the app, so they're usually very egotistical, very into working
so
out,
annoying.
don't want to drink, don't want, because they're like,
Too
I'm
healthy.
like, you eat carbs, whatever. But the worst that I've had 2 guys that I've dated that have really, really hurt me, and they have been cheating on me.
Yeah.
Cheating is the worst.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
And it's unfortunate because it is so easy.
Yeah.
It's so easy to cheat if your app is right there.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know?
Do you tell them?
Well,
to
that
get
and if
off?
your lives are not intertwined, there's
Yeah,
nobody
you
that's
don't
gonna
know.
say anything because
You
don't-
would think that you meet their friends and family and they still are cheating. So, I mean, that's a situation that unfortunately was bad. Yeah, I mean, I told the most recent person, we were in an exclusive relationship, and I didn't find out till we had broken up, but we were still seeing each other, which that's a bad sign. I mean, that's kind of the world we're in now, though. There's like exclusivity, but like then it like doesn't exist. Like
Yeah.
it's like, let me break it. I'm not sure I'm ready for this, but can we still see each other?
Yeah.
And, like the
Yeah.
answer is no.
The
Like
limbo.
you need to say no to that person. And so when I found out that he had been seeing someone since we were dating, that became a thing. Like that. And I have had 2 situations like that. That's the hardest part of it. But I mean, that could happen with any situation. It's just you don't expect when you're 42 for it to be happening because you kind of feel like a child. Like that's the problem. That's the issue I'm having with like dating right now is I'm starting to feel like I shouldn't be like in this position at 42.
Right.
Like I
Like
shouldn't
having
be
to
having to
explain
deal with
this, like-
fuckboys. I shouldn't
And
be
where are
having
these
to like.
men? They're supposed to be grown ass adults.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No one's ever.
Their
grown up.
mamas didn't do a good job.
Well, no.
But I feel like we think that we're all adults, and it's like they're all.
I mean, they say the average man like
I don't know if
matures at 43.
Yeah.
and, like, I
Really?
don't really
Yes.
know if I think that.
Are you
Google,
kidding
I think
me?
Google
Oh my
said like
God.
30, 43 or 45.
It's 43.
Yeah.
That's insane.
I looked
Yeah.
it up recently because I went out with a guy who was 44. He's like, thank God I made the cut. And he did make the cut. He was
He
mature. He was
seems
ready for
mature,
a relationship,
yeah.
but I wasn't ready for a relationship with him, and so that didn't work out. But like,
So a 38-year-old though wants to just fuck around? Like,
yeah.
aren't you bored? Don't you
No.
want?
It depends on what mental illness they have. Like he was narcissist, so
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
he
yeah,
for
that's
sure
not
wanted to
gonna-
like.
That'd go a long way.
Yeah.
There are some 38-year-olds that don't want to fuck around,
Yeah,
but no,
yeah.
the one I just recently dated, yeah, he's fucked up.
All right, let's get you on Love Is Blind.
Yes.
You know what's funny?
I
As I
love
do
that
think
show.
Love Is Blind would work because I mean, I'm talking to someone right now on an app, and his personality is fucking amazing,
Yeah.
and he's attractive. I hope he never watches this. I would think he's like a 6.5 out of 7, and normally I date like 8, 9, 10s,
Yeah.
right? But I don't care because his personality is
It's
so
so
good.
good. Yeah.
And when
Yeah.
I think back to the best relationships I ever had, those guys were like 5, 6s. They were not that hot. So it's like it's exciting to like think
Because
about
they don't
that.
have the ego part.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. So
No, they say that the relationships happen with the 5 to 8s.
is that what
Yeah.
they say?
Yeah.
Who says?
Oh,
Who's
It's,
they?
it's a thing.
Who is it?
It's a thing.
They
Yeah.
said it.
Okay,
Yes.
well, and I'm not trying to toot
They-
my own horn then,
the
but,
internet
but then
says
am I
it.
like fucked because I feel like I'm like a 9. So like, am I fucked?
Well, so they, as the internet, that is also like there's level of like neurosis and crazy, and so it's like the combination between.
Oh, it brings you down.
Yeah.
Not just
Yeah.
looks. Okay.
Yes.
So my crazy might bring me down to like a 7.
Yeah.
And I know you think I'm crazy. You compare me to Carrie Bradshaw, which I'm like, I am not as crazy as
Carrie
her. I would
Bradshaw,
never
I don't
show up in a beret with
I don't think you're
McDonald's and
exactly-
like bonjour. I would never fucking do that. But
No.
I do. I have me
You
some
have
crazy.
main character energy
Of
for
course
sure.
I do.
Yes.
It's my whole life.
Yeah. No, I don't
right?
think it's bad. I do not think that. I think that Carrie Bradshaw is a
Possible.
bad person. No, I think
Oh.
she's. I think it.
Also a bad person.
No, if you were to look at her in like the.
She makes terrible decisions.
She makes awful decisions.
But it's
yes.
fun to watch.
If you were just to read her resume, I'd be like, this chick sucks. Like,
Yeah.
I would not. She's not even like. No.
Well, and like her, I will say the problem I have is I hold on too long to toxic people. I expect a lot out of people that I should expect nothing out of. So it's like, it's delusional. I have delusion. And like,
Yeah.
I remember, so my college roommate, her name was Erin, and she was very, very smart. She was a couple years older than me, and I don't know what she's doing now, but that woman was a brilliant woman. And I told you I went out with Gavin DeGraw, right?
I love Gavin DeGraw. You went out with Gavin DeGraw?
Yeah,
I
he
met
did.
him and he told me I had nice teeth. I just got my braces off.
When?
It was at Universal, and I was like,
Jordan
what
will
year?
remember
oh god,
this forever.
that was 7?
So that was the year that I slept with him at Universal.
No way!
Yes.
That's crazy.
Now, we
I gotta tell
interviewed,
Kristen.
we interviewed him on the radio because I worked for the radio station, and I had met him twice before, and that was the third time I hung out with him, and we slept together that night of Mardi Gras.
On the
The night he said
radio.
you had
Yes.
nice teeth.
So
That
we're in
night,
the same
yes.
bubble right there. Kristen had braces. He said, "Did you guys go to the same orthodontist?" That is so funny. That
Okay.
one was big too.
Yeah, he was pretty big. So I had hung out with him
Nice.
prior to that.
I'm like trying to remember who Gavin DeGraw
Oh,
is.
One
He's
Tree
like,
Hill.
I don't want to be
Be
anything
anything
other than what I've been trying to be
That's
lately.
what it looks like.
Well, he's balding now and wears a hat. But anyway, he was a very attractive man, and I liked him a lot. I
His voice
discovered
is-
his music in 2003, prior to him being a big deal.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's a good idea.
Gavin DeGraw.
I don't know. I'm not. It makes me seem like I was chasing. I wasn't. It was. I swear to God, I interviewed him on the radio, and his producer came up to me and said, "Meet Gavin after the show. We'll be over here." And we met up with them. Like, this is where we're gonna be. We were a group of people. We walked around City Walk, and then he was like, "This is Gavin's hotel room. He wants you upstairs." And I was like, "Okay."
Was
So-
he forward about it, or was it just like?
That sounds
I am.
I mean, the producer did it.
Like
so-
I am a celebrity. You guys have to
Producer
do
was
it.
his little worker.
Well, and
Yeah.
all of my friends, my girlfriend, for whatever reason, had 50 condoms in her bag, and she shoved them in my
Can I
pockets.
borrow one?
And I was like,
50!
and it was blue. It was weird. I don't know. It was like a whole thing.
Was he good?
Yeah, it was a good situation. He's a big mouth.
Did he ever call again?
He messaged me on MySpace the next day.
All right, that's good.
I had his phone number for a long
Aw.
time. I think maybe I messaged him one too many
Can you
times. I may
call
have gotten blocked.
Can you
I don't
call
know. Well, no, because then I moved to New York, and he lived in New York, and he messaged me 6 months later to meet up at a bar, but I had a boyfriend, and I said I couldn't go. I know.
Man, you could
Could have been Mrs.
Your
Craw.
fork. That was your fork.
I went the wrong way. I went the wrong
Damn
way. But the reason that my friend thought I was delusional was because she was like, I was talking about, I'm like, well, I'm just going to marry Gavin DeGraw. And she's like, shut up. This is before we hooked up. This is months before. And I was like, I had already met him twice, or maybe once. And she was like, and then she wrote a paper in her class about her friend who was delusional. And she went to me. And she read it to me. And she was like, but I think there's an element of being delusional in dating. I think you have to be a little
Yeah.
delusional. I think you have to believe it's going to work out like a fairy tale.
Yeah.
And I don't
But
know
like
if my
entrepreneurs, the top
Yeah.
of the top, they're all delusional.
well,
they
and
all
maybe
think
my
it's gonna
delusion
work.
got me to sleep with Gavin DeGraw.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know. I think there's a thing there.
Yeah.
I mean, I was like, I think this is going to happen. It happened.
You manifested
I
it.
think I did manifest
Well,
it.
it's
So,
like making the thing there and then going to the thing instead of being never,
Yeah.
having
Yeah.
the goal or
Yeah.
never
Yeah.
putting it out
Thinking
there.
it's possible.
Yeah.
yeah. So
That's
I'm a
awesome.
little delusional.
Yeah.
And
I never slept with Gavin
Gavin DeGraw.
Because I never thought about it.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I thought about it when meeting him, but also I was 16.
Yeah, that would have been
It
a
wasn't
little
gonna happen.
inappropriate.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's 10 years older than me. Maybe 8 years older than me. I think he's 50, 51.
Well, God bless. I love him.
I cannot imagine
I think
this
I saw
guy
him
is
later
at all.
too. Oh my god, yeah, he always had a cool hat.
Because he's balding.
He's bald.
He's
maybe
balding
he
then,
wore
too.
too many hats. and
Okay,
now
to
he's
be
bald.
honest with you, and I don't know if this is ever going to get seen by anything, but he's another one that I think is gay.
Oh,
I
yeah.
have this thing where gay men like me, and it just is what it is.
I could see that.
Yeah, I could see
There
it
it
too.
is.
It's the SSA.
This is how
I just
probably,
learned about
probably
this.
when you met him, he was like
Yeah.
that. He always had hats. He's still now he's real cool.
Yeah. Looks like he's trying hard.
So I don't know. I think there's an element of needing to be delusional in dating because you want to have the fairy tale still. I mean,
Sure.
when people ask me, do you want to get married again? I say, and this is really shitty to Eric, my ex.
I was like,
Not your Eric, my Eric.
You're Eric.
really shitty.
But I don't feel like my first marriage really counted. We had Bree before we were married. We got married kind of because of my job, and it just wasn't exactly what. So I at 42 still feel like I'm 14 and want to have that same
That fairy
fantasy
tale,
and
yeah.
fairy tale, right? So you have to be delusional to feel that way. In this climate, you have to be.
Well, and then I weirdly know so many people that married their like high school sweethearts. Like
Yeah.
I think I know
But
more
you do,
people,
and
and
so
it's
do
like,
I. So it's kind
Yeah.
of weird that the people around me, I do feel like I'm on an
Yeah.
island by myself. I
Yeah.
really do.
because I'm like it's there, and then it's like I mean I think it's crazy. I think I statistically being with your high school sweetheart does not work. Like,
Right.
and so it's like, but I know so many
Mhm.
of them, and I'm like, so crazy that they. But I also have this theory that if people's parents didn't get divorced,
Yeah.
then
I think
like
about
they're
this a
more
lot,
likely. Yes, and because most of the people that I know that either are high school sweethearts or are in long-term relationships, their parents.
are still married.
Yes,
Right.
and it's like it is a weird thing
And
because
you know, as a person who's divorced, her husband makes me worry for Brie, and I want to try to break that chain because obviously I came from a divorced family too, and I don't want that.
well,
to be
I
the
think that
case.
you guys also co-parent well, right?
Yeah, I
So
think it's
I
about
think
that.
a lot of
That's what
it
it's
is
about.
like the people that I know that their parents were like mom getting remarried multiple times,
Yeah.
not having a good relationship with
Fighting,
dad, having
yeah,
all of this
yeah.
like.
I think if you co-parent well,
Yeah,
then
I
they
think
see
that
as
I think
healthy.
that that's different because
Well, yeah, you're breaking the cycle, right? Like my mom is on her fourth husband, and it's been a struggle for me, and it's made me look at relationships really difficultly. And I think, and I have daddy issues. I'm not gonna lie. Like my father wants in a relationship with me, and that's something that seeps into your dating life. It just does. Like
Yeah.
unfortunately with men. So, but yeah, with Brie, I'm like, she's met a couple people randomly, but only for like a moment. It wasn't like a let's hang out with this person.
Yeah.
And it was more like this is mom's friend. This is not something that she's like romantic.
Yeah, what is your rules, or how do you do that? Guys?
So it's never gotten far enough for me to actually introduce anybody as my boyfriend who
Yeah.
we're now hanging out with. Yeah. Like she met Mark because it was COVID and we were going for a bike ride, and he was like, he lived in Baldwin, I lived in Baldwin. He's like, I'm gonna go for a bike ride, and I was like, okay. And so he met her that way. It wasn't like I invited
You guys
him.
were together for 3 years,
No, we were on and off for 3 years.
but
So-
you never introduced.
Mm-mm.
So
That was
you
the
will,
one time.
you will when you
Oh,
know
no.
they're the one that's
Correct.
the one.
Yeah.
Which is really cool.
I think for
really
me,
good,
my
yeah.
number's
Yeah, well,
6
that's
months.
healthy,
But I don't
yes.
Yeah.
It's
yeah,
like mom
100%.
that introduces kids to new boyfriends
Oh my
all
gosh,
the
it's
time.
insane.
Left
It drives
and
me
right.
Those
insane.
are the
Yeah.
ones that are
Get fucked up.
perpetually like gonna have weird relationships.
yeah.
Yes.
A
yes.
new one and a new one and a new
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
And you're just like,
Yeah, no, I can't do that to her. And
Yeah.
I love my daughter so much, and she's like obsessed with me, which I love that too. But she's like, the other day we were going to the water park. We were going to Blizzard Beach, and I was like, okay, so look around for any single dad. And she's like, Mom, and I was like, what? And she's like, stop. And I was like, I'm just kidding. And I was like, she's like, I've been praying for a long time. You don't find anybody. And I was like,
Oh, then you don't find anyone?
Are you counter to it?
That's what I
Like,
said. I was
countering
like,
my.
but I've been hoping for that. And she's like, I was like, is it because you want me all to yourself? She's like, yes. And I was like,
Aw.
so you know, there's
She's
part
out there
of me,
just canceling your
Yes.
wishes.
Yeah.
there's part of me that's like, maybe it's gonna be 6 more years, 7 more years.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a chance, and if that's the case, I'm okay.
Yeah.
I really
Yeah.
am. I'm not. If that's how it's supposed to be, to make sure that she's in healthy relationships as an adult, I'm a-okay with that. I can do the situation that I've been doing for 6 years. You know, I don't want to, but I will.
But also, I feel like if you know, when you know, you're gonna be like, okay, this is it.
Absolutely. Yeah,
You'll
I mean,
be okay with this one.
absolutely. Yeah,
Because
and
your mindset is different than just like, oh, I want you to meet her.
And my sister
Yeah.
is like very similar to me. She's even more scarred, I guess, because she's older, so she saw more than I did.
Mhm.
And we had a lot of conversations about this, about meeting the like children. And her children are grown, so it's a little bit different. Her
Yeah.
children are all in college. One's graduated, but she introduced them at 6 months to her now boyfriend, and I was like, she's like, I can't believe I did it. And I was like, well, you felt ready. Like you
Was
can't.
it
There's
good?
no hard and fast rule. Like let's like do
Yeah,
what
how
you're
you
comfortable
feel,
with,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And he's coming on vacation with us this summer, so you know.
So we're still together.
We're still together. It's been a year, so
Yeah. But that's a good rule. Like,
yeah.
that's a
I
long
just
time
think
to know.
you.
At
It's not
least-
even about time, although I am gonna keep it the 6 month rule, I
Yeah.
believe.
Yeah, it
But it's
doesn't-
about like if you, because I mean I've been with people for 6 months where I'm like, you are not meeting my child. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
sorry, but yeah, it's like, do I think you're gonna be there for a long time?
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know,
Right, yeah.
so.
Or like that she can see me with him,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Right, where it wouldn't be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause that's and it's just important years. She's what, 12?
Yeah.
11. So
Have
I've got
somebody
that
take
to
care of
I
Lisa.
mean, I know. I want
Bearded
someone
Todd,
who wants
bearded
to take care of
Todd.
me too, but I also like I guess the thing is that's hard now is like I just don't need that.
I know you don't.
You know?
But I want
Like, let me tell
somebody
you guys
to, so
today.
you can like kick your feet back and be like,
I know that would be
"Man,
nice.
Just
Chop
chill.
some wood.
Chill a little
That would
bit.
be fun.
Yeah. Just for fun. You
Yeah.
don't even have a fireplace.
No.
Just
I
chop
chop
it.
the
wood.
wood. I don't
But
wanna
you
use
just
it.
theoretically don't even have a fireplace.
Right.
He just chops it. And then we just
I
throw
know,
it
I
away.
And
would
there's
like
no
to-
ego.
I was just like would like somebody who's
He's
just
like, I just like want to do it shirtless.
You
And we're
know-
like, alright, I guess.
yeah, someone who's like I have this.
Yeah.
And you don't have to worry about it
Yeah.
because that's
It's
the
genuine.
part
It's
that
genuine.
being a single mom is the hardest. I think that is probably the number one thing single moms would probably say is like just not having a partner to help you with it is, and not that I don't think parenting is hard, but I only have one
I do.
child. I know. I understand that. I only have one child, and she happens to be amazing. Thank God. But
Bree is awesome.
she's easy. There's moments, don't worry, but she's easy. But I'm like, I just want, like, yeah, I have to, like, make sure that the house is taken care of. Like,
Yeah.
all this stuff that you
Everything.
just, like my freaking car broke down, my tire, this,
Yeah.
whatever. It's just, like, I just,
Can I call
like,
my partner
oh my
to
God.
help
And, like,
us?
I have friends whose husbands have been stepping in on
Yeah.
that role, and it's very
Yeah.
nice, but it's, like, you feel bad. Like, I don't
Yeah.
want your husband to have to do that for me. That's weird, you know? So, that's the part that you miss.
Yeah.
It's not sex, because you can have sex anytime you want.
Yeah.
It's not even really like there's a little romance that you would like to have, but then you get a little annoyed by that too. Because I've had
Yeah.
that recently where someone's like love bombing me. I'm like,
Get off of me.
Yeah, that's too
like,
much.
I don't
Yeah.
want that either.
Yeah,
No, it's
I
the
like
buddy.
love bombing
Yeah.
in
It's
general.
the buddy,
I
and we're
like that.
laughing, and we're
Yeah.
joking
Yeah.
together, we're watching our TV together, and you're gonna
Yeah.
fix
Send
my
me the
tire.
funny
And the
thing
text,
that you
yes,
said.
I know, I was
Yeah.
just about to be like,
I want
like
funny
Ellie and
memes.
Funny
I's
memes.
text thread is like part unhinged and cute, and
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like awesome.
Yeah.
Like I love
Funny
it.
memes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like
Sit
if
with
you
me
looked
and
at our
scratch my
text, it would
back.
be like you don't
Yeah.
know if we're friends or
Yeah.
husband
When
and
we're
wife,
mad
and
at
then
each
there's
other,
like
Ryan will send like we'll be like separated because we're like pissed at each other. Then he'll send me a meme and it's just like.
I
And I'll be like, come.
Yeah.
You're allowed now.
Ellie's like I know you got rubs. I'm like,
I mean, it's
Yes.
so true. That end of the night, like the end of the night call is like really, it is like when you have good news or when something's
Yeah.
going on.
Yeah.
You're like,
Yes.
I don't really. I mean, your girlfriends can
Yes.
take on a lot. Thank
Yeah.
God, like you have good girlfriends to do
Yeah.
that for. But like, you miss that. You miss the like, oh my gosh, this happened today, or I'm going to bed,
Yeah,
like,
the little
or I'm
things.
home safe, like
Yeah.
you know
Mhm.
that kind of stuff. It's
Yeah.
very minimal, but it exists.
Yeah.
Well,
but
Well, I mean, that is the kind of person I'm looking for. Someone who's solid, someone who's got their shit together,
Yeah.
and someone who's kind
doesn't want
and
the
good,
crazy.
and is gonna make me laugh. I mean, it seems really, really
And has
easy.
a beard.
I
has a
have a
big
beard.
wizard
I can do a
beard.
beard. Yeah. I can do a
I
beard.
hate beards with like.
I don't know. It's such a thing right now.
Well, you're
I
dating the right guy.
Honestly.
I think if he like took shots of testosterone in the face, I don't know if there's like gonna be. A
I mean,
beard.
I could go
hate
through my
beards.
app
I
and
hate it.
show you that it's like 1,000%
beards.
like beards. Yeah.
It's
I
all
don't
just dirty.
understand.
It's
Well,
just
I don't want a
dirty.
wizard beard, but I love a good facial hair.
I like the scruff.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't.
I
like
feel
it.
like
Yeah.
every guy
When you kiss
in
me
the
and my
young
face feels like a
kids-
sponge bristle pad, like touching me.
It just shows man.
Well, that's
I
why
don't know.
like
It
I don't
does,
like
but-
full on like. I feel like it's like scruff is like good. I like the scruff.
They're just
I like
reminds
a
me of
little
teeny
scruff. I
boppers.
don't want you to look like you're 12.
Yes.
I want-
that's
Yeah.
right.
I want Elliot to be 12. I love it.
Well, yeah, we gotta keep him young.
That's true. You guys are a difference in age, so.
He's gonna look younger than our men. He's gonna keep him. Eric's white as hell on his beard.
I kind of like that.
With
Salt
the
pepper,
tan line?
honestly.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
funny
it's-
because I
it's
also was
nice.
wondering, like, you know, when I was getting divorced, I was like, am I going to be attracted to older men who are like gray and stuff? But I'm like,
Oh, I
Yes,
love
what?
the gray.
I am. Like,
Yeah.
I
A
am.
zaddy?
I didn't think I would
Literally
be.
my
And then I was
type
like,
is that.
oh my gosh, I am. I, like,
Yes.
your taste changes as you get older.
Yeah.
Like, Doug was like full on gray, like, but he was still hot and like Bill. And I was
Yeah.
like, all right.
Have you
I'm ready for
dated-
Brian to turn gray. He's got his gray hairs coming in here, and he's like,
A little bit
he
here and
jokes
there.
me off. He's like, I'm gonna pluck them. I'm like, don't you fucking pluck them?
I know, I like 'em.
You leave those grays.
Have you dated people with kids?
Oh, mostly.
Yeah.
Mhm. I actually prefer it. I mean,
Because they
Sounds-
get
get
it.
it.
Yeah, I
It
feel
it
like
sounds
it's a
bad
different-
though. I mean, I've gone out most recently. I've gone out with people without kids, so I'm open to it.
Yeah.
But I need you to understand.
Right.
I need
It's
you to be
totally
like
different than-
not bummed out that you can't see me because it's Wednesday. Like
Yeah.
you just have to be like okay with it. And like Doug actually was a great situation because he was 54 when we met, and he had grown kids, so
Mhm.
like he had time for me.
But he
Because the one-
understood.
Right.
But
So the
he
ones with the
didn't-
little kids are
yeah,
hard.
Yes. 'Cause that's a lot of responsibility. To
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
someone with like.
Yeah, because they're deep in co-parenting too.
Yeah,
you know,
right.
Like especially multiple kids.
Yeah, Jeffrey has 4 with two ex-wives, and that was difficult
Yeah,
because there was
that's
not
a
a
lot.
lot of time.
Yeah.
And he was also sleeping with other people, so that was also
Oh,
difficult for
that's-
us.
Oh, it's
Great.
Yeah.
Great.
But
But his personality was there, and that's the problem. It's hard to get over that. It's hard to get
Yeah.
over people that have that.
If you
'cause
were
it's-
this and that.
Because it's
you
yes,
were-
and I think you project like
Yeah.
what you could be,
Yeah.
right? Like, and that's the problem. So
what you would do.
yeah,
Yeah. And then
I
they
would
did it.
equate it to like
Yeah.
cocaine versus coffee. Not that I do cocaine, but like this person was like cocaine. I can't go back to coffee. So like I need this. Like
Yeah.
I need you to be the same amount of that. And if you can't do that for me, then it's like I'm not gonna do the bunch of coffee. I
That's
can't.
a good analogy.
Yeah, but I mean he was cocaine. It was bad.
Not good for the
Yeah,
heart.
then you
He
go out with
still
like
is
a.
cocaine. Let's be
yeah.
honest. So.
Then you go out with like a tea, and you're like,
You're like, what the fuck? Where's the personality?
that's the
Like a
accountant.
tea.
Yeah.
Or
I want the
a
tea.
pharmacist,
A
or
pharmacist.
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like account manager. I'm like, what the fuck does an
Boring.
account manager do?
Oh, we said
He's like,
account
oh, I
manager.
just
Cow manager. That
Oh,
would be.
man.
That would be fun. Yeah.
I went out with a guy who was a farrier. Do you guys know what farriers are?
I didn't know
They
what this
put
was
the
before.
the shoes on the horses.
That's a whole
Oh.
job.
Yeah.
A whole job, and he had his own business. I was like, this is fucking
You know,
hot.
my
It's like,
yeah,
this is
algorithm-
cool. Yeah, and he
Like
was
you would be
ribbed all the
picking up
time.
the-
He was ribbed.
Yes! I am in that algorithm.
I just
What?
saw
The
a
fair?
comedian
Picking up the
talking about
hooks.
this.
Well, that's now you
I-
need it more
that's
'cause I
not
just
in my
said
algorithm.
farrier.
I was like, what is this? And then it keeps popping up. I literally have never talked
I literally just
And you
watched-
like it, and it's like more and more and more.
I
No,
watched,
I
just
never
watched a
liked it.
comedian talk about like how you
It's-
get in an
it's
algorithm.
big.
She goes, you know, like the hooves picking out. And
Dude,
I was like, I've
no,
never
it's
seen
like a
this
little
before.
black dot and then they're scraping.
Yeah,
It's scraping.
There's a
It's
lot?
and it gets bigger and bigger and it gets deeper.
It's Gabby just watching
It's
like
insane.
30 seconds
So
of it.
how often
Yeah.
do they have to do
They
this?
change their shoes like.
They change their shoes.
They do. It's like I think it's like monthly. Like he had like 80 horses.
Why do
in his
they
yard.
have to have them? Like, aren't horses?
It like
just-
hurts their feet.
But aren't they like naturally
Well,
without
well, they
shoes?
get like wounds and
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well,
That's what it
especially if
is,
they're
like,
walking
they're
on like
scraping on them.
concrete.
Okay,
and
like
stuff.
unnatural stuff.
Yes, yeah.
But like natural horses don't need shoes.
I bet.
I don't know if there are natural horses anymore in the world because we don't have natural things around us.
Wild horses. Is
Well,
songs
where
about
where
them.
is
But
there
also-
wild horses?
Montana.
They
Okay,
have
we don't
to
live
be in like
Their feet are strong.
well, it's like their hooves get like worn down from like being out and about. And if they're not like worn down, then I don't know. There's
Okay,
something
but the
about
hooves are like natural, right? It's like them. It's almost like a tonail.
It is
Yes.
like a toenail because that's
So
what I
it's
asked.
keratin.
I'm just grabbing a drink.
Why
Wait,
do
they
horses
asked.
need shoes?
They said. They said.
Our next
Oh.
podcast topic.
Management that results in horses' hooves hardening less and more vulnerable to injury.
That's funny.
Okay, should we wrap?
Yeah.
We're at 55 minutes.
Oh my god.
Dang, that went fast. Yes.
Oh,
This
they
is
might
when
need
you know
Okay.
it's good.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
We can let Lisa say
Yeah,
bye, too.
do something crazy. Do something crazy.